Daf Yomi, Tractate of Metzia, page 111. A, top of the page, with the words V'zeh, Lefi she'ein pe'ulaso etzlo, etc. In that one, the middleman is exempt because his work is not performed for him. The Gemara asks, what are the circumstances of this case? If the middleman said to them, your wages are incumbent upon me, his wages are indeed upon him, as the one who hired the workers bears full responsibility. As it is taught in Braita, with regard to one who hires a laborer to perform work in his own field, and the employer inadvertently shows the laborer a field belonging to another in which he should work, the employer must give the laborer his full wages, and in addition, the employer goes back and takes from the owner of the field which he worked the value of the benefit that owner received from the laborer. The employer is entitled to claim from the owner of the field the profit that owner gained from the work, but not the entire wages of the laborer. This indicates that one who says your wage is incumbent upon me is responsible for the arrangement. The Gemara explains, no, it is necessary to state this halakha where the middleman said to them, the obligation to pay your wages is incumbent upon the employer, in which case they share responsibility for the payment and neither violates the prohibition. The Gemara relates, Yehuda bar Mereimar would say to his attendant, go hire workers for me, and say to them, your wages are upon the employer. Yehuda bar Mereimar instructed the attendant to do this in order to avoid violating the prohibition of delaying payment of wages. Mereimar and Mar Zutra would hire workers for each other for the same reason. Rabba bar Rav Huna said, those marketplace workers of Surah do not violate the prohibition by Torah law of delaying payment of wages in the event that they do not pay their employees immediately. This is because everyone knows that they rely on the market day to earn their money, and the employees are aware that they will not be paid on the same day that they worked. But he certainly violates the prohibition by rabbinic law of do not delay if he withholds payment any later than the market day. The Mishnah teaches that an hourly laborer collects his wages all night and all day. Rav says an hourly laborer who worked by day collects his wages all that day, while an hourly laborer who worked by night collects his wages all that night. And Shmuel says, an hourly laborer who worked by day indeed collects his wages all that day, but an hourly laborer by night collects his wages all that night and all the following day. We learned in the Mishnah, an hourly laborer collects his wages all night and all day. This is apparently a conclusive refutation of Rav. The Gemara answers, Rav could have said to you that he teaches the Mishnah disjunctively in the following manner. An hourly laborer by day collects his wages all day, while an hourly laborer by night collects his wages all night. Okay. We learned in the Mishnah if he was a weekly laborer, a monthly laborer, a yearly laborer, a laborer for a sabbatical cycle of 7 years, if he left upon the completion of his work in the day, he collects his wages all day. And if he left at night, he collects his wages all night and all day. This indicates that one who finishes his work at night can be paid throughout the following day as well. Okay. Let's see how much we have left. Quite a bit. Alright, we'll do one more paragraph and then we'll call it a day. 2 more. Alright, the writer continues. From here the sages stated, anyone who withholds the wages of a hired laborer violates these 5 negative prohibitions and 1 positive mitzvah. He violates the prohibition of do not oppress your neighbor, Leviticus 19:13, and the prohibition of do not steal, Leviticus 19:13, and the prohibition of you should not oppress a hired laborer, and the prohibition of you should not oppress a hired laborer who is poor, Deuteronomy 24:14, and the prohibition of delaying payment of wages, Leviticus 19:13. And he has not fulfilled the positive mitzvah of on the same day you shall give him his wages, Deuteronomy 24:15, and he has violated the prohibition of the sun shall not set upon him, Deuteronomy 24:15. I think we'll stop it here. And I just made a